Greetings once again from Eastern News 24. I see the bike Nkonye Chikweri Yazelo. Alright, today we'll be bringing to you the latest update on what is happening in the land of Ndibo and the whole entire Biafra land. Alright, in case this is your first time, don't forget to share, and once again, don't forget to subscribe. Alright, this news is according to the Biafran activist Wetala Yabozi, as he quotes. Breaking news. Nnamdi Kanu's release. Finally, the truth is out. Global international lawyer react to Dev Umai on Nnamdi Kanu's negotiation with the Nigerian government. Hear the news in details. All right, quick one according to Yabob data because Tontina na Kiga B5 with Edo no Bossi Ruchin Ketana Eastern News 24. The Kia Gia Kabaro Kiriatua, Nia one night could you all right, over to you, sir.
Dave Umahi, Minister Dave Umahi, from his position, let's pick it up from there. It wasn't President Tinubu that put him there, and so he shouldn't be pressured, and it will take a political solution and basically divine grace for this to happen, for him to be released. Was the Igbo Sociocultural Group, Ohaneze Ndibo, also came out and said, look, don't make this about campaigning. Don't put this forward and say, look, don't make this about electioneering for 2027. But does it seem like there is a zeal, there is a desire to release Nnamdi Kanu anytime soon, especially considering the fact that a court in Kenya has rendered his extradition illegal?
Now, Moses, look, I have said it before now that, look, whether Tinubu like it or not, he will release Nnamdi Kanu because all the allegations against him cannot hold water. From what happened in Kenya now, which I'm sure his lawyers will bring to Nigeria, I don't know what else they are trying to say. I don't know what else they are trying to do. More so when the prosecution have closed their case. They have closed their case already. That means they have nothing else to add to what they have been doing all along. That is one. Then two, Tinubu cannot keep Nnamdi in detention, Nnamdi in detention, and still come to the Southeast to campaign and expect people to give their vote. It will never happen. We are no longer mixing words. It cannot happen. More so when this young man is being kept in detention unjustly. The facts are there. Unjustly. So Dave Umahi is not even talking properly. Telling me it's not for... If Tinubu does not release Nnamdi Kanu, on what ground will he come to campaign and ask the Igbos
Should he be campaigning with the life of the man in the first instance?
No, whether it is or not, is that all this one he's doing in the north and every other place? What is it for?
But Barrister Darlington,
yes.
Nnamdi Kanu was in prison. Tinubu became the president. He was in prison also when Buhari was there, and nothing really happened. And we have Igbos, who have Southeasterners, politicians, actually not saying anything about that, to the point that they were even campaigning also for all these people. Nnamdi Kanu was in prison, and Tinubu was conferred a title by the Anambra State people just when he went there to confer or to inaugurate a project in that state. So are we seeing the politicians in Igbo land now not still going on with playing their interests against the release of Nnamdi Kanu?
Nobody can blame the Ohaneze or any Southeasterner for Nnamdi Kanu's detention, because they have done everything. It's on record. From Buhari to Tinubu, Igbo leaders have gone to Asorok to plead for his release. What's her name? Hazilike, before he died, that first Republic aviation minister, he pleaded that, look, let it be the last wish they can grant him. Nobody listened to him. Ohaneze have gone to this leader when they were in Asorok and why they are still there today. So on what ground will you not blame our Igbo leaders? What do you want them to do? To carry guns?
So then how then do you now say that Tinubu should not come to the Southeast?
No, I didn't say he should not come. Hold on. I didn't say he should not come. I said if he's coming, what is it? Because they have been telling us that he's not against the Igbos. He's not this. We know that. But the facts on ground does not prove so. It was Tinubu that released Shawere from detention for his treasonable felony charge, allegation by Buhari government. Is that not true? It was Tinubu that released Shawere. Was it Tinubu that put Shawere in detention? No, it was Tinubu that released Sunday Igboho. So why is NnamdiKanu different?
It was. I thought it was the courts that released Igboho.
Sorry?
I thought it was the
courts.
courts.
No, Tinubu matter pressure. It was when he came in. It was the pressure of Tinubu. It was the pressure of Tinubu that made them to release Igboho.
All right.
So why will anybody now come and say that he's not Tinubu? All the other cases that Tinubu inherited, why can't you say, no, I will not entertain them?
But Barrister, looking at the way this court trial, I know this is the first time Nnamdi Kanu has been tried in court. You recall that he was just there behind bars, sitting or languishing there in DSS custody. But now with this present president, the case have been taken to court, tried, to the point that the federal government have, they've closed their own case now, waiting for a cross-examination and all that. Now, isn't this more like a good way in the right direction for the issue between federal government and Nnamdi Kanu to, come to an end?
Is that not what we have been asking for? All this while that they were kept in detention for nothing.
But now that a son, a viable Igbo son, I'm talking about Dave Umahi, who also happens to be Nnamdi Kanu's kinsman, is saying something about divine grace and dialogue and intervention to be the only way forward.
The matter have gone to court. We don't even need to beg anybody. Because the facts on ground does not show that Nnamdi Kanu is guilty.
All right then.
Yes, the matter has gone to court and we didn't stop for it. We have been very peaceful about this thing. Many regions in this country or many tribes, they will not tolerate it because it's an insult. That the court have even said that they should release Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, the federal government sat on the case. Is an insult or not?
All right.
But we kept quiet. So let the needful be done. But today, Omahe, please don't use us to sell your political career because we know where you belong. You are not even talking to people.
Let me bring Nonso into this conversation now. Nonso, now let's X-ray the recent judgment from Kenya and the position that it puts the Nigerian government that brought Nnamdi Kanu back, and the trial that has been ongoing for a while now. That judgment that says, look, his extradition, I beg your pardon, was illegally done.
Yeah, they call it extraordinary rendition. I think that's the word they use. To be sincere with you, is actually an indictment on the Nigerian government. Because the judgment that we should get from our country, we are not getting it from Kenya. It's an embarrassment on Nigerian judiciary. And what that tells us is that from the statement of Umahi, all of them, they know that this guy is not supposed to be there. There is no legal justification for them to continue to detain Nnamdi Kanu. And this judgment from Kenya has equally exposed, the loopholes and the inadequacies in our judicial system.
What is the role of the international community in all of this? Shouldn't they be dragged into it? Shouldn't they come say something in this regard?
Not at all, because Nigerian government violated their own judicial system, their own laws. By by expatriating Nnamdi Kanu from that place to Nigeria. So it's like they have equally, it's a dent on their own judicial system. Because Nnamdi Kanu was in.
Why haven't we heard from the British government? Because we know Nnamdi Kanu carries a dual citizenship.
Well, you know their role in Nigerian system. They will never intervene.
Politics.
Yeah, they will never intervene because they are enjoying what is happening in Nigeria. The British, what we call neo-colonialism today, these guys are enjoying, they are raping our economy and they will be silent.
For how long are we going to blame the British over what we're having in Nigeria? This is 64 years of independence.
Yes.
And this count, okay, this is 25, 65 years and all that. So how can a 65-year-old man still be blaming a grandfather or great-grandfather for the mishap happening there? Yes. What then is stopping the Nigerian leaders from breaking free or breaking away from the neo-colonialism shackle that I just mentioned?
We have somebody like IPOB that is independent-minded. So long as we continue to have the stooges, those who go to Chatham House to first of all lay down their manifestos, to tell the British that this is what we want to do. You know what? Until we break that trajectory of anybody who wants to be the president of Nigeria going to Chatham House, do we need external validation from the UK government before? No. Come to Benue where they are killing people. Go there and give them your manifesto. Go to the southeast where there is insecurity. Tell them your manifesto. Don't go to Chatham House. So until we have a leader who has this intellectual autarky and independent-minded, leader.
Okay, now you took us to another level. You know,
Yeah.
let's bring in this part where we'll have the talk about coalition. We'll have that to discuss later. Now, some persons view of this school of thought that the reason Umahi is sounding this way is the fact that APC, they are jittery over the permutation about coalition. And then we'll see Peter Gregory Obi, who happens to be the Labour Party candidate in the last election, to be the man at the center of this whole talk. People are beginning to throw their support for him and all that. Now, do you think that actually should be the way for them at this point in time to win election? Releasing Nnamdi Kanu to the Southeasterners, or having such conversation to gain or win the interest of the people of the Southeast so that they'll be able to retain the power after the 2027 election?
Well, Dr. Mahi, when I listened to him, I just laughed because, well, I thank God for the coalition. I thank the coalition leaders. Before now, they didn't even know that they were releasing Nnamdi Kanu. But now that they have seen them regrouping and reuniting to wrestle power against them in 2027, that's why you see them talking about releasing Nnamdi Kanu. Why wasn't Nnamdi Kanu released the moment President Tinubu assumed office? Why is it now that they have seen that the political atmosphere is now tensed against them? There is a kind of rejigging, regrouping against them. And the coalition forces is going to unseat Tinubu. That is the truth of the matter. If IPOB is presented as a candidate, that's the only way.
Do you think at this point in time
Yes.
that the release of Nnamdi Kanu at this point in time is a well-planned, framed bet for other APC also to gain the support of the Southeasterners who have been talking and clamoring for the release of that young man?
We know President Tinubu is a serial fixer. He knows the right time to act. He strikes while the iron is hot. For him, this is the right time because he lost abysmally in the Southeast. Now, for me, it's not going to work because thinking that releasing Nnamdi Kanu will give him unfettered access into the heart of the Igbos. For me, it's dead on arrival.
Why do you say so?
You know why? Releasing Nnamdi Kanu is a boost to P2B if ADC adopts him. Yes, it's a boost. It's not going to be so. If they think,
how is that a boost?
It's a boost because one releasing Nnamdi Kanu leaving the detention will lessen insecurity during elections. Because most people protesting are saying you are holding our leader.
So who takes the credit?
We are holding our leader. So if you allow him to come back, people like the Igbos will be happy.
So basically, you're saying
yes.
If Nnamdi Kanu is released now, it's not to the favor of the president.
No,
so he should keep him there.
No, it's not that he should keep him there. He's releasing him because he wants to win election. It's not because he wanted to leave. The guy does not need to be there. We have court judgment, release this guy, release him. He refused to release him. Now he wants to play to to appeal to the Southeasterners by releasing him prior to 2027 because of his second term re-election bid. It doesn't make sense for us. It's not going to work.
No, Barrister Darlington, Nnamdi Kanu have been a vocal person. He actually the other time was talking about how he's not even interested in any political election again that's been organized in Nigeria. And he made mention of marginalization of the Southeasterners to be the reason. At this point in time, some persons have also come up to finger him saying that he did not, or he is planning, or one of the reasons was kept behind bars was the fact that he said something about election not going to hold in the Southeast and all that. Now, with the release of Nnamdi Kanu at this point in time, do you think it's going to favor Peter Obi and the likes of the Southeasterners who also have their eyes on the ticket for the presidential bid?
Of course, because yesterday when Obi was speaking on one of the TV houses, he mentioned the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu and what he portends. He said it. Now, if they should release Nnamdi Kanu now, who will take the credit? Because the matter have gone to court. And all the arguments have been canvassed. All the witnesses have been presented. So, I don't see it as a favor. Rather, I see it as a way to maybe show up your political image in the Southeast.
So, do you think he will achieve that if he's released?
You mean if the government in power release him?
Yes.
It's not even released, it's the court. Because they have closed their case against him. So we are waiting maybe final written addresses and all that.
That's it.
So who will not claim the credit? When you have nothing against him, you have nothing against him. We didn't see any incriminating evidence, something that can, that they saw Nnamdi Kanu where he was killing people, they saw gun in his cache of arms that he was stockpiling in somewhere. that we saw him leading a battalion of bandits and all that, like they're doing in the north. There was nothing like that.
Barrister, sorry to interrupt you. Do you think, now we know that largely Nnamdi Kanu has been calling for no elections in the southeast, Nigeria, Biafra fighting for cessation from Nigeria and the rest. Now, if he's released, how do you think that will play out if he comes out and says, look, okay, fine, the leader of IPOB is out and Biafrans should not vote in the forthcoming election, but rather continue the clamor for a sovereign state. How do you think that will play out for Peter Obi and others that are contesting elections?
Nnamdi Kanu will not go through that route. You know why?
Why?
He should understand the mindset of the average Igbo man. You don't force an Igbo man to do your bidding. Before an Igbo man will take decision, he will look at it, both sides. Nnamdi Kanu cannot come out to that and say nobody should vote in the South. Nobody will listen to him, and he will lose respect. This is something that the Igbos have to agree.
Well, before now,
can't do that when Obi is contested.
Before now, there have been calls for elections not to hold in the southeast because Biafra wants to pull out of Nigeria.
Because as at that time, they didn't regard an Igbo man, to be qualified to be the president of the country. Now the Kanu cannot come out to that and say.
So you think if Peter Obi is running, he will speak in favor? He will say, "Okay, go out and vote."
He may not even interfere. On what ground? He may not interfere. I expect that he may go to the UK where he is a citizen to go and cool off, just like Igbo is doing in Germany today. He won't just come out and start political activism immediately. No. It is something the Igbo elite, the Igbo Ohanese will come together. And then he had to carry them along. If you don't, you will lose out the support of the Igbos. Now the Kanu cannot come out to them and claim to be Ohanese himself. Nobody will take him serious. So all those things that people are, alluding to him, he may not even be interested in all those things. If we want to get independence from Nigeria, it is something that we have to do constitutionally. The UN Charter is there. Other relevant bodies are there to support us. It's no longer something of violence or all that. That's what I'm saying. Nnamdi Kanu will not come out and start any violent disposition. It's not possible because the Igbos will call him to order. That's the truth. Whatever we want to get, we'll get it without violence.
All right. Also, you want to add something to that?
Well, for me, I think Nnamdi Kanu's release will not, spark any violence in the southeast. Nothing at all. For me, Nnamdi Kanu is a cerebral fellow. He might just engage wherever that, he has been talking about restructuring of the country. If you look at his program, it's not even secession. He has given conditions. It's only when those conditions are not met for a better Nigeria, a well-restructured Nigeria. He has been talking about confederation in a situation whereby the federating unit will be given power, rather than the current centripetal arrangement. Let it be centrifugal. So this young man is not even saying, oh yeah, everybody stop voting. There are reasons. Something made him to make such pronouncements. So releasing him shouldn't be a threat to any election in Nigeria. They should let him go. This is somebody who lost his parents just because of the fact that he's fighting for his inalienable right of self-determination, which is a fundamental human right. He has lost his parents. This young man has been in detention. He's a captive of conscience. They should release him. So his release shouldn't be a credit to the government because it's simple. The court, they've already said there's no charges against him. So continual detention of Nnamdi Kanu is not good for our polity and it's not good for our national unity.
Na Eastern News 24 kefi were ku gbasta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile nọ n'elu akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa kefi wee ku gbasta maka ya bụ ife dropụrụ ife iche n'ụdị nke gị ngwa nke mesịa na ụmụnne m